Y'all done did it now. Hey, it's me, the woman on the internet that keeps yelling at you to wear your sunscreen. Now, many of you got the memo, congratulations. However, many of you are making sunscreen mistakes that can worsen your pigmentation. Oh, but I'm gonna get y'all together though in this video, along with Charlotte Tilbury, who too wants to see your skin win. Obviously, mistake number one is not wearing sunscreen at all, but I assume that most of you out there watching me are aware of how UVA, aka the aging rays, can not only prematurely age the skin, the fine lines, the wrinkles, the jowls, the drooping, but it can also, along with visible light, worsen pigmentation. Yes, that's right. Those dark spots, that melasma that you're trying to treat, the sun exposure can make it worse. And not only that, a lot of our skincare products do make our skin more sensitive to the sun, especially a lot of the chemical exfoliants. That glycolic acid toner had your skin looking real cute and glowy until you stepped outside without that sunscreen on, right? Mess around and you'll be on a hamster wheel of your own doing. You'll constantly be in a cycle of getting to hyperpigmentation, then fading it, then waiting for it to fade, then getting hyperpigmentation again. But we need vitamin D, so I'm not gonna wear sunscreen. Wearing sunscreen has not actually shown to affect your skin's ability to absorb vitamin D. And we talked about that with friend to the channel, board certified dermatologist Dr. Diane Davis, in this video right here. Check it out. There are some of you who say, you know, sunscreen is greasy, it's heavy, it makes the skin look purple. Now tell the truth, you tried one sunscreen and that was it, right? Sunscreen has evolved. There are sunscreens out there for every skin type, need, and lifestyle situation. Charlotte Tilbury just recently launched a new sunscreen, and shout out to them for partnering with me in today's video. They just launched the Invisible UV Flawless Primer SPF 50. It's creamy, it's lightweight, and it blends into the skin like a dream. Now, a couple of things that you should know about this sunscreen. It contains vitamins C and E, which are antioxidants that help to protect us from the environmental stressors that try to come for our skin during the day. The UV, the pollution, all the just gunk during the day that just tries to come for our skin. It also contains camellia oil, which is a rich antioxidant with soothing properties. Hyaluronic acid, which we already know hydrates and helps to plump the skin. There are also iron oxides in it as well, which help to give us additional protection from visible light. We talked about iron oxides, visible light, and why that's important in skin of color in this video, so make sure you check that out. Iron oxides do give you some additional protection from visible light. Visible light, along with UV, which I just said, can worsen your pigmentation situation. It's also fragrance free, and it also has this really soft blurring effect on the skin, which is amazing whether you're wearing makeup or you're going barefaced. Now, although this is creamy, it didn't feel heavy on my oily skin, even though we're on the brink of summer here in New York City. It wore well throughout the day. It felt like I had nothing on. It gave me a nice healthy glow. A bit of a blurring action, not a full-on Instagram filter, but a little bit of a blurring action. I love this on its own, but under makeup it also makes for a great primer. Mistake number two, y'all are only wearing sunscreen when it's warm and sunny out. Now let me let y'all on to a little revelation. I don't know if anybody told you, but you know, just come a little close, come on, just come close, come on. The sun is out year-round. The sun's rays can penetrate clouds. It can even penetrate the window. So we also need to be protected when we're driving in our cars or if we're sitting by a window working all day. In the wintertime, the snow can actually intensify UV exposure, and in many cases, the UV exposure can be worse in the wintertime. Mistake number three, y'all ain't even putting on enough sunscreen. If you want to get the SPF that is listed on that bottle, you have to put on enough. What is enough? Enough is an equation that equals 2 milligrams per centimeter square of skin. Now you could get real crafty and measure that out. A lot of people do, but a rough guesstimate would be about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon for your face, neck, and ears. And for the rest of your body, about 1 ounce or a shot glass full. But sometimes, you know, you might need a little more, you might need a little less, because our bodies do take up different amounts of space. There are people out here applying sunscreen as if it is highlighted, and I want you to not. If you don't apply enough sunscreen, you're not as protected as you think you are. You go outside and you just make things worse for yourself. And I already established so many times that sun exposure can worsen pigmentation. Now, some sunscreen formulas like sprays and powders do make it a little difficult to almost impossible to apply enough on. With sunscreen sprays, you want to either spray it on your body and then massage it into your skin, or spray it into your hand and then massage it into your body. Because if you just go spraying, you may get some sunscreen particles flying up in the air over here. Who is that protecting? Not you. Now, when it comes to sunscreen powders, I would never rely on those as my sole form of sunscreen. I would have some sort of base sunscreen on, and then I may use a sunscreen powder to reapply throughout the day. But a sunscreen powder, you're just never gonna apply enough for it to be your only form of sunscreen. And speaking of reapplying, that brings me to my next point. Mistake number 4, you're not reapplying. Now, I think most of us here wear lotion on our hands and our bodies, right? I feel like if you don't, an elder or one of the ancestors or somebody's gonna come and be like, put on lotion, my child. And you know that after you wash your hands that you're gonna need to reapply your lotion, otherwise like the dryness is gonna come back, right? Now that doesn't mean that your lotion doesn't work, it just means that you washed your hands and you need to reapply your lotion, right? Same thing with your sunscreen. Sunscreen is amazing, but things like sweat, oil, water, these are things that can chisel away at its efficacy throughout the day, which is why you need to reapply. Another reason why you probably should be reapplying is probably because you ain't put enough on in the first place. Now, if you don't wear makeup, it's as simple as taking whatever sunscreen you had on and just reapplying that throughout the day. However, if you do wear makeup and you want to know how to reapply your sunscreen over your makeup, I already have a whole video right here telling you all about that. Now, mistake number 5, I hope you are not doing this, but I have a feeling some of y'all are doing it, especially if you're not applying enough sunscreen. You might have some left over. And mistake number 5, you're using expired sunscreen. Now, you wouldn't drink expired, I would hope you wouldn't be out there drinking expired milk or anything else that's expired in your fridge. Don't be using expired sunscreen. Sunscreens have a certain shelf life, and once it has reached that shelf life, there's no guarantee that sunscreen is going to protect you in the way that it says on the label. Now, I understand I can be a little frugal sometimes when it comes to certain things. I spend my money on certain things, other things I don't spend my money on. This is not the time to be frugal. If your sunscreen is expired, throw it away and get a new one, please. Mistake number 6, y'all be mixing all kinds of mess into your sunscreen, and stop it. Do not mix anything into your sunscreen. Not your moisturizer, not your face oil, not your foundation, not your concealer, not your... Don't mix anything into your sunscreen. Doing so can affect your sunscreen's ability to protect your skin. Now, you can layer with your sunscreen, and I'm about to tell you how. Your sunscreen should be your last step in your skincare routine. So if you're applying a moisturizer beforehand, and here I'm demoing the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, apply a moisturizer, let it absorb, and then put on your sunscreen. This will also help you avoid any texture issues. So if you've ever put on a moisturizer and then put on your sunscreen and kind of felt like it kind of pilled, this will help you to avoid that by letting the moisturizer absorb fully and then putting on your sunscreen. Although with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream and the UV Flawless Primer SPF 50, I ain't noticed any of those texture issues, but you still want to let that moisturizer absorb and then put on your sunscreen. Now, for some people, your sunscreen may be moisturizing enough to wear it on its own. I do find that the UV Flawless Primer SPF 50 is moisturizing enough on its own for me to just wear it on its own, but it does also layer really nicely with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. So I know you're like, okay, so then what do I do, Danielle? Use your discretion. If the weather is feeling kind of cold and dry, or despite what the weather's doing, your skin does feel a little dry, you may want to put your moisturizer on, let it fully absorb, and then apply your sunscreen. However, there may be days where the sunscreen is enough on its own, so just kind of use your discretion. For me, myself, personally, especially in the summertime, I don't usually need to put a moisturizer on underneath my sunscreen, but when it starts to get a little cold and dry, I do. So I use my discretion, you use yours. Now, when it comes to makeup, you put your sunscreen on, give it about 15 minutes, go ahead and do something else. Maybe you do your hair, maybe you cook some breakfast, listen to a podcast, bust a wine, whatever it is that you want to do to pass the time. Give it that 15 minutes and then apply your makeup. But you don't go mixing your makeup into your sunscreen. There was one study where they mixed those together, and because it was studied that way, and we talked about that in a previous video. So if you're curious, check it out in this video here. And then I have a few honorable mistakes. Well, we should probably call them dishonorable mistakes. Applying your sunscreen while your face is still wet. Now, your face could be wet from you just washed your face, or it could be a toner or a moisturizer or some sort of skincare product that you put on before your sunscreen that's still a little wet on the skin. If you are having texture issues with your sunscreen, like pilling where the sunscreen seems to like ball up on itself, you don't want to apply your sunscreen while your skin is still wet. Let that product dry down and then apply your sunscreen. Now, another dishonorable sunscreen mistake that I personally see y'all making. Y'all gotta let these mineral sunscreens be mineral sunscreens. In a nutshell, mineral sunscreens use inorganic/mineral filters to protect you from the sun. Titanium dioxide and or zinc oxide. These are both white pigments, right? Now, me, myself, personally, I do prefer a chemical sunscreen for my skin. Now, some mineral sunscreens can be better than others, but you gotta keep remembering that what is protecting you from the sun in these mineral sunscreens are white pigments, right? Now, the reason why I stress this is that so many people try so hard to make fetch happen with mineral sunscreens that they either don't apply enough because they're scared of the white cast, which is understandable, but also not, because you got to protect yourself from the sun by putting on an adequate amount of sunscreen, or you go mixing all kinds of craziness in it to kind of mitigate the white cast, which is not good because that can also affect you properly being protected from the sun. Now, to keep you from doing the most with these mineral sunscreens, which in turn makes you do the least for your skin, I have a video on how to, make the mineral sunscreens look a little bit better, so make sure you check that out. Now, me, myself, personally, I do prefer a chemical/organic sunscreen for my skin. They're easy. They typically go on invisible, much like the Charlotte Tilbury Invisible UV Flawless Primer SPF 50. But if you have questions about that, leave it in the comments and we'll talk about it. All right, y'all, time to fess up. Have you been making any of these sunscreen mistakes? Did I miss any sunscreen mistakes in this video? Let me know. Get all chitty chatty about it in the comments. Will you be trying the new Charlotte Tilbury Invisible UV Primer SPF 50? Let me know all about it in the comments. I'm going to link to that along with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream in the description box, along with a video where I demonstrated the magic cream, because that cream really is some magic, right? Now, some of you get a little beside yourselves and you can't find a description box. I'm gonna put a demo up here so you know where to find it, whether you are on your desktop, your laptop, your tablet, or your phone. It's really easy to find, actually. So if you're looking to purchase or you're looking for more information, make sure you shop through my link. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me help the channel and it helps you. Thank you again to Charlotte Tilbury for partnering with me in today's video. I'm gonna leave you here with a video on some things that you probably should not do in your routine if you're trying to clear your hyperpigmentation, but it's educational and it's entertaining at the same time, so check it out. And also, summertime is getting close, and y'all might be trying to do some crazy things with your lady parts, and I need you to watch this video before you do so. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.